To boldly go where few have gone before, and to deploy a tracking and data relay satellite. This was the mission of the Space Shuttle Challenger, or it would have been, until tragedy struck. It was an unusually cold January morning at the Kennedy Space Center launch facility in Cape Canaveral, Florida. Ice had formed, and NASA's team of engineers knew that launching in these conditions would be unsafe. However, the judgment was made that the mission had been forestalled too much already, and so the decision was made to proceed with launch. On that fateful morning of January 28, 1986, a single O-ring on one of Challenger's booster rockets produced by Morden Vehicle, which had dropped below its glassy transition temperature, failed. What resulted was nothing less than a tragedy. A nation watched helplessly as the shuttle exploded, killing all 7 crew members. Of course, this tragedy gives rise to many ethical and legal issues. We'll now take a look at those issues from the perspective of a professional engineer practicing in Ontario. The ethical issues are as follows. 72.2a, negligence. 72.2b, failure to make reasonable provision for the safeguarding of life. 72.2f, the failure of the practitioner to present clearly to their employer the consequences expected from deviation in a proposed work. In this case, it was a known fact that the O-rings were a weak link. 77.1, fairness and loyalty to the practitioner's associates, employers, clients, subordinates, and employees. 77.1.3, devotion to high ideals of personal honor and professional integrity. 77.1.5, competence in the performance of any professional engineering services that are undertaken. 77.2.1, regard for the practitioner's duty to public welfare as paramount. 77.8, the practitioner shall maintain the honor and integrity of their profession without fear or favor. Some alternative paths that could have been taken are as follows. The relevant engineers could have done nothing with the knowledge of the faulty O-rings and the unfit launch temperatures. However, this would violate their duty to report. They could have informed management, which would uphold their duty to report, their loyalty to their employer and their colleagues. It would also uphold their personal honor, professional integrity, their duty to the public, and their responsibility to act without fear or favor. Had this not worked, they could have whistleblown to the relevant governing engineering body. Now, this took place in America, however, if it were in Ontario, that would be PEO. This would uphold the same criteria as listed in the previous example. They could have also whistleblown to the public. However, this violates 77.1i, fairness to employer. However, it does uphold their duty to the public and their responsibility to act without fear or favor. As a group, we decided that had this happened in Ontario, the engineers should have gone to PEO, above their supervisors who had decided not to act on their recommendations. This legal analysis will address the tort case that ensued. The defendants were Morden Vehicle, the producer of the booster rocket which failed, and the US government. The plaintiffs are the families of the deceased crew. Possible damages could have been consequential damages from loss of family income, general damages from grief, and possibly punitive damages. Morden Vehicle and the US government settled out of court with 4 of the families to avoid litigation. However, the wife of Michael Smith, who was a pilot on board the Challenger, sued the government and Morden Vehicle. The government ruled that military survivors, i.e. their surviving family members, may not sue the government. This is prudent because Michael Smith was on active military service at the time of the explosion. This was a precedent set by Ferris versus the United States. On behalf of Group 20, I thank you for watching this presentation.